All right, me and Michael, what I really wanted to do this time was show y'all a little bit about how I grew up. I'm gonna show Michael here, like how I grew up, like his age going here. Now, I did not grow up here in the sense of I wasn't like living here full time. I lived in Houston and my parents were separated and I played all the kind of sports and everything like that. But I was coming up here at his age and I'd come every weekend. And even this all through middle school, high school, things like that, I came up here every weekend, either met up here or my dad came and got me. And I just wanted to fish almost every single weekend I was here. Fish, hunt, do things like that. So I wanted, sweatshirt goes on, sweatshirt comes off. All right. But I wanted to kind of show him and show y'all what it was like growing up here without a boat. We had a pontoon boat. So we white bass fish, but I wanted to show y'all what I did on how I started fishing, when it started happening from a young age. And I'm gonna kind of show him. So let's go. And go ahead. And he's gonna drive me around on the golf cart. Because I used to drive, I used to sit in my dad's lap and we used to drive vehicles around. So he used to let me drive, he had a Suzuki Jeep. And he used to let me drive that Jeep when I was like 13, 14 years old down to the marina so I could fish. He got tired of taking me down there. So, but this is, I'm gonna show y'all, I didn't grow up on this street. I grew up 2 streets down. My mom lived in Houston and my dad passed away back in like 2006. And so I didn't want my mom living in Houston forever. She didn't even live in Houston for obvious reasons. And so we moved her up here. She's liked it. It's a great place. And it's in between me and my sister on where she lives and stuff. So this is like my first experience fishing by myself off the bank. This is what we did. We'll walk down there a little bit. It doesn't look the same. Things have changed a little bit, but for the most part, you'll get the gist of everything. Pull in right here. So this was the park we actually lived. I'll go show you all here in a second. You can almost see our back porch way over there. I'll show you how I walked over here, and that's Lake Livingston. There's some people down there, so I'm not going to go down here. This volleyball court wasn't here. But basically right there off that corner, or those benches, that bench is right there. Like I said, there's people down there. I don't want to film them and stuff like that. But that's where I'd go set up all my catfish rods. So what I do is get my cast net, throw it off there, catch a whole bunch of shad, put them on rods, get 5, 6, 7 rods out there, and I'd catch catfish. That's what I pretty much did every morning. Have we ever done that? Huh? No, we have not done that. Would you want to do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was the only thing I had to go do. It was fun, but, you know, that's what I did. He can kind of do more things up here now, and that's just what I wanted to do. And he hasn't really expressed much interest in doing that. I honestly don't want to sit down there and go catfishing either. So, but that's what I did.
Which way are we going now?
We're gonna go. Let's go show where I grew up, the house I grew up in. Or I ended up graduating high school there. I ended up coming up halfway through my junior year and going to school here. I quit all sport. I didn't quit all sports. I quit all sports my senior year for the most part, and I played a little basketball, and I don't want to get into all that. But I ended up it just wasn't right, and I just wanted the sports thing up here at the time. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, I just wanted to fish and hunt. I'd grown up in Houston, and I just wanted to do that every day. I knew I wasn't going to do that in college. I wasn't going to have that opportunity to go fish and hunt every day after school and things like that. And I was right here. I made a lot of friends really, really quick. A lot of them like to fish. And so I was like, hey man, going to go pond hop every day. We're going to go hunt. I can still go play ball. We still wouldn't play like basketball every day after school too. I just didn't have to do it. It's just, like I said, long story. So I enjoyed that part of it. So that's kind of like him. I think he likes to kind of go do whatever's cool at the time. Plays a lot of sports, fishes when we can. Like I said, we're going hunting today, but I wanted to show y'all a couple little things first. You know where you're going. I do like taking him here because I think this is important for him to like learn how to drive on a golf cart, learn how to drive on these kind of private roads, have some independence. I think that's good for kids. Sometimes it's hard where we live and where a lot of kids live. This is about the next best thing. So as you can see, we're only like a circle loop away from where I grew up. So this is the road I grew up on. This hill, when I had to run this hill for track, like this is where I started. Yeah, I know, it does suck. It was great when I came, like I would end my run here because it was a 3-mile loop, but the beginning of it always was horrible. The house I'm about to show you is not, it looks way different. No, you don't have to pull in, just pull up on the side. We do know the people, just over here to the left. Just kind of pull up to the side. I don't really want to film their house, but that's it real quick right there. It does look a little bit different. They painted it. The walkway's different. The siding on the bottom's different. I mean, there's some different things to it for sure. It looks a lot nicer. They loved all wood. It did not look like that when we lived there. It was all stuck up in these trees, and that house was there. A couple of these houses were there. This was just an old cabin. So the doors weren't there. We did not have doors like that. Our doors, we didn't have shutters like that. We didn't have any lights like that. Our doors were always open. My dad did not believe in heat and AC. Maybe that's why I fished so much, because it was 85, 90 degrees in that house in the middle of summertime, and I could see my breath in there in the wintertime. And so I did not spend a lot of time in that house. It made me want to go outside and do other stuff. So anyways, I would walk from here, go drive down there to those mailboxes. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just going to show you. So all I had to do, I take my bucket, a couple rods, keep going, and keep going right there. I'd grab my bucket, rods, cast net, and all I'd have to do was walk from there to right down there. They had that little bridge. I'd walk down that bridge. You can see the court through all that, and walk down there. And that's what I do. I'd go catfishing. That's how I first started fishing. There, and the pontoon boat white bass fishing.
Do you want me to pull in there and then turn around?
Yeah, you can do that. Pull in there and turn around. This house was not here when I grew up here. Nice house, though. I'm sure they love us driving through their driveway. We don't have a bunch of, I say we don't have not around this place. We'll have a bunch of Karens in here. In this neighborhood, we used to when I was growing up.
Left?
Yeah, left. The old people, I say that. A lot of them were awesome, and then a lot of them were like, get off my yard type people. I mean, I had a battle with a couple of them. My dad did too. Not about stuff, just about you. Karens will get onto you about the dumbest thing possible, right? It's never about, hey, you were driving 60 down my road and the speed limit's 20. No. I get stuff like that. It would be, it's hard to explain, because that's what a Karen does. They come at you with the dumbest, most ridiculous thing ever, and that's what they're mad about.
You want me to go to the marina?
No, I want you to go straight. So we're going back down this road. This is, I didn't know about this pond. We're going to the pond down here. You know where the pond is?
No.
All right, we're gonna go to this pond. I don't tell Michael to go to this pond for a reason. The reason we don't go to this pond is because it is not the same. It's depressing to look at. And I didn't know about it till I was much older. But I didn't start bass fishing till the 7th grade. And we'll get into that here in a second. Let them go by first. Here, you need to pull up a little bit more so you can see. You're good, go straight. So this pond, when I found this pond, my very first fish out of this pond was like a 6-pounder. I caught it and I was so freaked out. I ran, got my dad. I was like, look at this fish I just caught. This is unreal. Blah, blah, blah. And like, it was awesome. Keep going, I'm gonna show you. It was hidden back here. They now have, look at them dove. Oh yeah, we going after y'all later today. They have now put this park in here. Here, take this wide. Take this wide. Ooh, more dove. Take this wide. You're gonna go down there. Just go slow. Well, so that was the thing. When I lived here, I made it all accessible to me. I didn't care what was here. So, and people left me. Well, okay, let's freaking hot road it. People left me alone. All right, you can park it right here. Just park it. Yep, that's good. We'll walk down there.
There's so much bugs.
Yeah, you'll live.
Oh gosh.
What?
There's a cow in it.
A cow in it. So you could walk down here. Now everything was different back then.
Oh, I went down here before.
Yeah, so this bridge and all this stuff wasn't here. This culvert wasn't here. And I could literally walk through this. Like, this was my place to fish. Like, it was here and across the place, okay? Now this, yeah, like none of this was here.
Oh, what's up there?
This huh?
What's up there?
Yeah, I mean, you get down here. This culvert, this whole thing wasn't here. There was a culvert, but it was just a pipe. All this concrete. Look, it's going to be in the middle of summertime, so there's not going to be any water right here.
This is cool.
Yeah. Here's a little bit of water.
There's a fish in there.
A fish or a frog. So what sucks now is, and things just happen. Like, all this is overgrown. And it was funny, they built a park here and they don't even make access to the pond. I never even came this way. There's a trail here. I fished right there and then across. Those are probably all turtles. So I never came over here. This was all grown up. Through there on that side was open. Yeah, so that's what I want to show. Now there's a 2-part to this. Tomorrow is my 2-parter. Okay. We're going to explain why places are not as good as they once were, right? Why some of these lakes and some of these places we fish aren't as good. Some people think it's pressure and all this stuff. For Lake Livingston and a lot of lakes, it's one thing, and the problem is it's almost irreversible. But we'll get into it. So I wanted to show y'all. We'll walk over here real quick. This will be. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode, because I think it's very interesting. This is how you can see it, how you can actually see what's bad. What are you laughing about? Watch out for alligators. I don't think the alligator's in this one. I'm not going to talk about the alligator. The alligator, yeah, there are alligators, no doubt. I don't know if they're in this pond. They used to be in the marina. Oh, used to be giant. You ran underneath all these spider webs with these big spiders everywhere. Life of being short, yeah. Very interesting. This was not here. This was all water, all the way to back there. So all this should be underwater. When I was here, this was all underwater. Yeah, I guess it is pretty cool. Like, so the pond is about half the size of what it used to be because of this thing. They did not build this, you can see. But like, I used to put my canoe in here and fish in here. So when I first started, it was all grass around this whole thing. This was definitely not here. Like I said, you could see that it went way back there. That was pretty open because there was a house back there, and I would feed them. What I would do, don't step in that, because it's silt and you never know. So this was all hydrilla around this thing, clear as could be. And hey, so Michael, I would go get hundreds of shad, catch them in the marina, drive my Jeep down here with buckets, and I'd throw all the shad in there, and the fish would like blow up on them and stuff. Like, I'd fed them almost every day. I used to catch frogs, like big frogs, and throw them out there, and they'd swim. None of them made it back to shoreline. Big frogs, they'd all get eaten. No, I thought there's any bass in here now. I mean, there might be. They're little ones. It looks horrible. I guarantee. No, I guarantee it's. So it was like 7-8 foot in the middle. I bet you it's not more than 3 now because of this. So this is tomorrow's thing. This is right here is what's happening to all the lakes around. Like, so many lakes this is happening. It's just silt.
Can you see it?
Can I see what?
All the stuff.
The spider web? No, I can't see that. I ain't worried about that. It's not on me. You were over there bragging about how short you were that it didn't bother you.
Well, I went a different way.
Well, hey, man. Life's rough. Hopefully it's
Going
not.
down is easier than coming up.
Yeah, well, let's see about that spider bite. I got all this mud on my shoe from that silt. Oh, maybe they were the same 30 fish because I used to put fish in there all the time. I'd just come down there, and when I was real young, I would catch all the fish, put them back, and do all that stuff. As I got older, I enjoyed feeding them more than catching them. Like, feeding them was awesome. I just thought that was the coolest thing. And they got used to me. They almost felt like they were my pets. And once they start feeling like your pets, you don't really feel like catching them. There were 2 ponds in here. I didn't find this pond until later. It was bigger. The other one was easier access. Like, I could drive down there with my truck or my Jeep or my dad's Jeep, I guess. This one was harder to walk around. Like, you could only fish it from like one little spot. When I fished it, I never caught anything big out of it either. So I just never really. I mean, I definitely brought some shad over and did some things, but I had to do it. Here, slow down. There was a back way back there. Keep going. There was a back way that you could go from it to it. Keep going right. Well, shoot, you can't even see it from right here. Well, anyways, hold on, stop. It's back through there. So I'd have to walk a pretty good ways. I'm not going to get out there just because I'm older now and I don't know these people. I mean, back then, you can go ahead. Back then, I kind of knew everyone. Like, everyone was used to me. Like, there's people right there in their windows. Like, I'm not. Yeah, but I mean, and that's public. Like, that, they have a trail to it from the backside. But anyways, pond set the same way. It was shallow back then. I did put my canoe in there a couple times and I had a blast in my canoe, catching fish, doing things like that. But like I said, it was a harder access. It was bigger, it just wasn't as good. And I had a ton of small ones. I eventually, with that other pond, I caught every single small bass I could out of there and put all big ones in there. And so it was always big ones. Like, it was 4-pound pluses. There was maybe a couple 3s in there. They were all bigger. All the little ones were out, and I fed them like crazy. And one pond was hard enough to manage. But then we're going to the marina now. This was like the fun stuff, like the pond hopping stuff I did. The marina, though, is where I spent most of my time. I didn't even spend that much time fishing those places. I mean, I did, but in the scheme of things, like, if I spent 5,000 hours fishing this this marina, 1% of it was fishing these ponds. But I would fish 8 hours a day. So I'd fish all day long every day. That's all I did. What do you mean?
Like the big lake or the small pond?
Oh, well, we'll do it in, let's take it left. And let me think about this. No, keep going straight. We'll stop on the road because I'm gonna show everyone where I caught my first bass. Sort of. My first two bass I ever caught back to back. They were not my first bass ever, but I would say it was, and you'll understand why. So like I said, there's two parts to this. One part is like where I grew up, and then the other part, and just parking this grass, kind of like right on that flat spot right there. Yeah, just be careful about it. You know, getting like that. That's fine. That's good, right there. All right, so when I grew up, there was none of these stupid signs like that. People are gonna get mad around here. None of this was here. This eventually came. None of these, whatever. I'm cool with the flags. I like the Patriot thing. I'm just saying. You know how things are. More signs, more things. Stay off. Why is it dark? Well, the water goes through. So here, well, let's go over here first. Let's go over here. I'll talk about the silt thing in a second. So I've told this story before, where I said the first two real bass I ever caught. It was pouring down rain. I mean flooding, and I was in where we kept our pontoon boat, and I was crappie fishing. And the guy came in there. He was working on his boat. He had his boat in the stalls, and he had all these worms. They were auger tail worms. If any of y'all know what auger tail worms were. So I knew how to crappie fish, white bass fish, all that stuff, but I didn't know how to bass fish, or I'd never really caught a bass. He showed me how to rig up a Texas rig. I had my rod and reel. He said, man, just go over here, right here. So get right here, stand right here, throw straight out there with a Texas rig worm. I did that, had 2 bites almost instantly, caught both of them. They were both like 2.5 pounders. Done. It was done. I'm talking about pouring down rain. I'm in the 7th grade. Hey, there's that gator. Look, y'all thought I was joking about gators. See it right there? I'll zoom in on him. See him swimming across? See him, Michael?
Yeah.
Look, he's about to go under. See him?
Are you gonna talk about?
No, we ain't gonna talk about that. I shouldn't get in trouble. It's been that many years, and I wasn't the only one that did it. A game warden did it too. The game warden put one of them in here. I'm not taking credit for both of them, but yeah, he's barely on top of the surface. Right there. Hope my hand's not in the way. I have been down here before, and they will swim through this culvert. So anyways, this bulkhead wasn't here, this seawall. This was all just natural land. And so I could come over here. He went underwater. So I cast right there. The first sight fish, remember, I've always talked about how I caught my first sight fish. Had no idea what a sight fish was. Like a bedding fish. Like I said, no one really explained anything to me about bass fishing. It was right here. There used to be I just remember there used to be a big tree right here. Anyways, I was walking through here, and like right there in the water, like right there, that gator popped back up again. Right there, I see this like big fish. I didn't understand like why I could keep on throwing at this big fish, and it wouldn't leave. And I just threw at it, and I was like, I literally realized I was pissing it off. And I'm like, look, the more I piss it off, it's gonna bite. And I caught it. It was like a 6-pounder. So anyways, that was my first ever sight fish. And I learned how to sight fish. I still didn't even know what I was doing years later. Like I was still young enough and didn't know anything. Like there was no books on this, or how was I to know that while I was doing this, like every year at a certain time, I would see these fish. It never registered to me that I saw them at the same time every year in the springtime. I was just coming down here fishing every day. Like, you know, when you're young, like you barely know, like summertime is just when school's out, but everything else is just the regular. So I would just be like, oh my gosh, I can see some fish every once in a while. And I'd throw at them and catch them. It would take me a while. I'd spend hours on them because I didn't know any better. I didn't realize years later that those were like bedding fish. So anyways, this place, now the water's normal right now. This place used to be 8-9 foot out there in the middle. This looks like the most unbelievable fishing. Like this looks really good. And it's not bad, but the water's like normal. But it's only about a foot right there, or 8 inches. It's not deep. And so even though it looks like the most phenomenal shoreline in the world, if the lake comes down a foot, man, there's no water anywhere near any of that stuff. So it's not that great. Out there it used to be deep, but now it's all silted in. It's like you can probably, where that gator was swimming is probably like 3 foot.
What?
Yeah, it used to be really deep. And that's what happened to all these places. I'm gonna show you other places around here. Like I said, from the outside looking in, it looks phenomenal. It's like, whatever, Todd, I could catch a fish right there. I'm telling you, even back then it was hard to catch fish around back here. You could only catch them where there was some deep water. This place was good because it's still deep. Those rocks and all that stuff, what I showed y'all, those weren't down there when I first got here. It was like 10 years later that they put them in. It didn't help anything. It was actually better when it was natural. I understand why they put them in. It was eroding away, but the erosion was it was going to be fine. They just, look, people do things because they want it to look nicer, not because it's actually going to make things better. So putting these seawalls, like some of these seawalls are okay to put in, but for the most part, they just want them to look nicer. It's not because it's going to make it look better. Most of the seawalls stop erosion, but they also, to me, that's where the silt piles up on them, and so it actually makes a shallower bank. All right, I want you to go to the other side. Take a left. Just come out of here slow. Slow. Did you look both ways? Left. There you go. I should have said U-turn.
Want me to go all the way down there?
Yeah. When I say thousands of fish, I've caught over 1,000 fish right here, where you're looking at. Every day I came down here, I do top waters, crankbaits, every day for years.
Turtle right there.
Yeah, take a right. Keep going all the way. Yeah, we'll just keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. Labor Day weekend, no one here. I would be here. You would find me walking the bank as a kid. You don't see that much anymore. Everyone knew me around here.
They also added that.
Yeah. So right there is where, let me slow down. This one wasn't here. We had a big giant boat here called Flexi Bell. That wasn't, so these two stalls, E and F, weren't here. Stop. That's where we had our boat down there. What? No one's coming. Where?
Oh,
You're good.
I thought I saw someone.
So I can say this now. The best fishing on the entire lake was right there. That's the first time it's ever been public. I caught a lot of 20 to 30 pound bags. No one's ever even heard of that on Livingston. Caught them right there. I was young. It's how I figured out how to deep fish. Like literally, and you want to, it doesn't matter that my dad's boat was kind of like right really close to it. It's just what I would do as a kid is I would just walk these banks, stand at the end of those piers and throw to the next pier with a worm. I did it on all of them. There's not a single piece of this water that I haven't thrown at with a worm, because I would just do it off of every one of them and just cast, and that's all I did. I found everything that way. Everything. And I found a spot. I found out later why they're there. It's only a 1 foot deal there. Giants. And it was really good when I didn't have a boat. When I finally got a boat, we won a lot of tournaments there, but I've had this, maybe I can find the picture of me and my dad at El Salto. I won a trip to El Salto with Ron Speed Adventures. He'd called me up when I was, I wasn't even going to school here. I was 15. I believe I was still in Houston, called me up. He knew a buddy of mine, Ken Seifert, who was a Lure Jensen sales rep. Anyways, I said, yeah, man, I got a spot you can win a tournament on. There's a whole he did a whole story like 5 or 6 years ago. His son did, Rod Speen Jr., about his conversation his dad shared with him about, and then my conversation I had, like 2 different points of view. But anyways, he ended up winning the tournament. They won a championship, invited me up on stage, gave me a lot of the credit for helping them out. I probably shouldn't have done it. He even said I shouldn't have done it because chances are I would have gotten taken advantage of. But Ron Speed and them were such good people. It just worked out. You know how things have to go your way? That went my way. We ended up a couple years later getting that's when I had my first boat. It was a 1976 14-foot Washita 6 steering, no trolling motor. Had a horrible trolling motor. They got me a brand new trolling motor, gave me some free baits, and then me and my dad a trip to El Salto. So, like I said, that was when I was like 15, or it might have been 16 by the time all that happened. But yeah, that happened there. Won a lot of tournaments from there. A lot of things went down right here. A lot of things. One day, maybe years later, I'll tell you everything that went down here. Like, you're probably not thinking what I'm thinking. I'm telling you, like, there's a lot of things in fishing that gets, behind the scenes stuff that people would never know about. Some things went down there that kind of made me salty about fishing and people in fishing, and that there's a lot of bad people in fishing. I'll just put it that way. And like I said, when money's on the line, you see a lot of people do some shady stuff and things that aren't right. I saw some of that at a young age, so I was very aware of that. When I said I'd only caught, these were my first 2 fish, this didn't look like it. Definitely none of that. Cine bean trees everywhere. You couldn't even hardly make a cast in there, and it's only about a foot. And it does connect to the lake. My dad always said when I was down here fishing, don't throw in that, you're just gonna get hung up, don't do it. And I was down here like way before I knew what I was doing with fishing, had this little crankbait, and I threw it in there when I wasn't supposed to, because he didn't want me losing the lure. And I saw him driving up from that direction, and I was right there throwing where I wasn't supposed to. And I reeled it in real quick, and it got hung, and I thought I was gonna get in trouble, and it ended up being like an 8-inch bass. I was hung on an 8-inch bass, and I got him in. And yeah, you go ahead. And so that was technically my first bass ever, where I was throwing. There's nothing wrong. It's not like I can't throw in there. No, keep going. I want you to go straight. So I fished all this stuff. Like, I know every inch of it. I know where everything is. That used to be phenomenal. This is part 2. This is the next video. Keep going. Go through there. We used to not be able to drive out through here. You had to walk it. I didn't care. Go through. You're good. Okay. These 2 sailboat stalls weren't here. They were just poles. There were some old wooden poles right there. Man, we used to catch crappie spawning. We used to put brush all out here. Oh, I'll talk about the brush thing here in a second. So this anywhere where it's concrete bulkhead, seawalls, that's been here since I can remember. This right here, this peninsula is what we called it, didn't used to have this seawall right here. This wooden, it was all natural. And there was actually natural rocks down it. Let me stop right here. Cine bean trees would grow here. It was beautiful. And you could like take 4 steps and be in like 12 foot of water, which you kind of could. Crush them down this thing. As soon as they built this stupid thing right here, right, to make it look nice. This is all the people, what happens when you live in nice subdivisions. We always called it, we lived in the slums. Like, there's $1 million houses, right? Like,
there's one like all the way
like
over there.
these multi-million-dollar houses. Actually, what's crazy is, and I don't know if I can find, this is going to be long, but it's pretty interesting. This whole point at one time was like 10 acres, I think is what it was. And they were going to sell it. My dad owned a bar in Houston called the Dark Horse. And Rudy Tomjanovich, the coach of the Houston Rockets, he's come in there. My dad was friends with him and a couple of those guys. Akeem Olajuwon came to thinking about buying this piece of property. Huh? Yeah, I got pictures of it. That's that picture you've seen. So I got a picture of my dad and Akeem on his boat, the pontoon boat. Huh?
It's funny because I have a basketball court.
Yeah, I know. So my dad took him out. Akeem Elijah went out on the boat. My dad was like 6'3" too. He's like 6'3", pretty big guy. Played college ball at Midwestern State University. They went out there. He showed Akeem by water what it looked like, and that was that point. Now there's house. They ended up doing other stuff with it, but for years there was never no houses. When I grew up, there was no houses, nothing. That whole seawall over there was all natural bank, fallen trees in the water, things like that. But now you can't catch fish along any of these seawalls where they put in these wooden bulkheads.
Wait, why?
Huh?
Why?
But well, for one thing, the silt, it made the silt, like you can see like right here, like I said, it looks like it's deep. Yeah, you can see bottom. You probably like, yeah, it's less than a foot. Now this was like 2 foot. All the concrete stuff is all 2 foot. When they do it later, I'm just telling you what happens. It's all super shallow, and like all this grass stuff that grows, that's about as much as it grew. It used to grow way on out there. Rocks all down it, cine bean trees would all grow on it. It would get stuff growing there. And there was rock all there, and I used to lift up them rocks and see crawfish underneath them. Here, go on out there.
Oh, I don't know how to turn.
What do you mean? Trust me, you'll be fine. So there used to be, this dock wasn't here, right there. This dock was, but it didn't look like that. It was a little bitty dock. Like you couldn't even put a boat on it. It was a dock about the size of that out there. And I had my boat, and I never really went much further than right here. I would just kind of go out there. Livingston, you can stop right here. Livingston would get rough. But my first fish ever on a jig, I flipped on that boat dock. Like I said, it's not there now. But it was about as that big. It had like 6 pilings on it and caught a 6-pounder, which is a giant on Livingston. And that was my first ever jig fish. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, keep going. I'm going to go all the way down this thing. Roll. Roll. Roll, driver. Drive me around. Just don't drive me in the water.
That was my plan.
They got all these flags up for Labor Day. I do like that. No, keep going. Emmy Point. See, now they named it something. No, we called this the peninsula.
I'm pulling right here.
Yeah, pull right here. You're good. And so this peninsula was really good. We used to catch them. That used to not be concrete. That used to be wooden. Smash them right there all the time. And that was Livingston. Dams over there. Indian Creek's over there. We used to white bass fish all around here. I'll show you real quick. So I would come out here, the best spot on this place. You could catch them down this place every once in a while, down the sides. The point was the best. I'll show you why. It's still there, but it's not as good. I don't know why. But see these rocks? So those rocks right there, but there's tons of them. And this whole thing used to be just rocks. So you could just walk and sit on them rocks, and if you just threw right out there, that's where the cast was. Top waters. Oh, I used to top water down here. In the springtime, you just spinnerbait down this thing, catch freaking big ones. It was awesome. I don't even know if you can catch fish there anymore. I could catch them on the other side. You can't see the rocks there anymore. Well, yeah, they're underwater. They used to have like concrete slabs and stuff out here. Not big ones, but you'd catch fish.
There's like one over there that we could see.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's all changed. So what happens is even in this place, like even that whole bulkhead right there is all, you can't even drive your boat up there. It's just silt. And over time, these lakes, and it's hard, like this is one of the few, this is like the best spot on the lake that hasn't silted in that bad, and it's still bad. I'm gonna go show you later on what it looks like on the ones that are really bad. Like we'll take you to Indian Creek real quick. Let's go there. And then Wolf Creek is the one that happened. What happened in Wolf Creek happened to almost every lake. There's some There's some creeks over there that there's like 5-foot sandbars. We go skiing on them all the time, and we beach our boat. And if you walk over the sandbar, it drops off into a creek. You haven't been able to get to those places in like 20 years. And there's tons of those creeks, can't get to any of them anymore. So there's like almost no creek on the south end can you get in anymore. That's what's hurting these lakes. It's tons of shad, tons of, like, if you stocked bass at 3 pounds here, they'd all survive and they live, they'd be fine. They just can't spawn. There's nowhere for them to spawn, nowhere for them to live as babies. But you put 3-pounders in here, every one of them will live, and every one of them will think they're in the best place ever, because they got plenty of places to live. And the shad in here, they'll probably die from overeating. Just open their mouths and swim around. They'll eat all the shad they want to. It's got nowhere to spawn. And that's the problem. It's not everything else. That's why I talk so heavily about, when I hear all these things about we're hurting the fishing, about catching fish and all these things, we're not. It's Mother Nature and things like this. It's not us catching fish and bringing them out of there. If places get bad, it's usually because they don't live there anymore. It has nothing to do with us. I'm like 99% of the time. And that 1%, I don't even know if that's true. But like Mother Nature, and you can call it like we're putting bulkheads here. Remember, this is not natural. This is man-made lakes, and so the floods and everything bringing the silt in is really what causes it. So it's, call it what you will. Call it a little bit of us. Call it Mother Nature. It's not us fishermen. That's why I get so mad about people calling out fishermen for doing things. We have almost zero impact on any of this. And I've seen it firsthand on all these lakes. That's why I caught so many fish every single day here and had zero impact. Like, people were catching fish. We used to catch fish and take them from tournaments constantly, all day, every weekend. It was awesome. And now you can't catch a fish here. It has nothing to do with us. None of us we haven't caught a fish here in 20 years. It's worse. It gets worse every year. No one's taking a fish out of here. It has nothing to do with us. It's Mother Nature and silt and everything else. And for every lake, it's something different, but it's never the fishermen. What are we doing? Let's go.
I did this, and you're like...
Well, it's loud. They don't want to listen to that. Where are you going to back up to? I'd pull up first. Do not pull up and freaking... Don't you drive over that ledge and put us in the drink.
Wait, where do I pull up to? Right or left?
Left. Oh my God. Dude, I'm making you walk home if you freaking go. If you push the wrong pedal and make us go, keep going left. Keep going. At least if you run into that, it'll stop us. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. All right. Go a little bit further. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Bro, stop! All right, back it up. Back it up. Put it in. I want to hear that thing beeping.
Wait, do I back it up like...
Yeah, but put that thing in so that way at least if you gas on it, I know you're going in reverse. There you go. Keep turning. Yep, go. Just don't mess up on which pedal. If you freak out, press on the gas.
Take it slow.
Take it slow.
It's hard to see.
Well, you're not anywhere close yet. Get ready to brake. All right. So that's what I'm worried about. You freaking out and step. All right. Go the other way. You stepping on the wrong one. Yeah, turn it and then go. You're going to make it, so it's not a big deal. You don't have to go fast. Yeah.
That was the most scariest thing.
Oh my gosh. Chill out. Drive me to the next spot, boy.
Where?
I'll tell you where. This is where I grew up, though, guys. I was making that turn in the 3rd grade. As if. You think we had a golf cart when I didn't have any. I was
exactly.
I was hoofing it on feet.
Yeah, that's easier.
I agree.
I'd rather walk here than drive through there and then have
No, I'd much rather have drove.
Yeah, because you're...
No, Oh yeah, you can walk around. Y'all are spoiled. You kids these days are spoiled.
We have a bunch of...
Would you stop hitting every bump?
There's so much...
Hey, come on, we ain't got all day. Let's go. Talk and drive at the same time.
I am driving. Wait, what time is it? We have to go hunting.
I don't know. We're gonna go blast on some dove later. We'll do it earlier if you just drive a little bit faster. Look, it's so bumpy, the cameras. All right, let's go.
Where?
I do miss this place though. Like, I miss it because of all the memories of catching fish. Oh, so here's another thing. After I caught those 2 fish, the next day I got a worm and I just went down this bulkhead, all up and down it, and caught a 5-pounder right there, or a 3-pounder, or a 4-pounder, something. And I was like, this is incredible. You want to know what my dad did? Sorry. This is how sorry my dad was. I went home, like he had to drop me off in Houston. I was at school. He comes down here, takes my Texas rig, and goes off there and catches like a 5 the next day. And then catches fish every day that week and sends me, calls me up and tells me about it. We go left. So here I am in school, dreaming about fishing every day, being miserable. Sorry. And he's over there catching fish every day. And I was like, hey man, you're gonna have to stop that. You're gonna have to lay off. The gator's a different story. I'll talk about that later. When I talk about Karens and stuff and things like that, these people, so I used to be down at that marina, right? Cared about fishing and fishing only. And those people were worried about the view and whatever it looked like. So they were always messing things up. So if they saw something in the water that was the best thing in the world for bass, they didn't know any different. They were always trying to take stuff up and clean stuff up and screw things up. Man, I used to put brush out on the bank, in the water, and it'd be sticking up. These old people would get so mad. And they'd come over there and confront me about it. And I'd tell them, man, it's by the bank. Your boat's never gonna go by there. You don't even have a boat. You drive it once a year. Chill out and leave me alone and let me fish. Luckily, the lady who used to live down there, that worked down there, Carolyn, who was the most phenomenal lady in the world, she would, we might have gone down the wrong. Her husband was the sheriff, and he was a fisherman, so he loved everything I did. And my dad sure didn't care about these people. All right, so this is part of Indian Creek. Spent a lot of time in Indian Creek. Once again, most of these houses weren't here, and it's hard to see. I could go down there and show y'all, but I have to walk through some people's property. It is Labor Day weekend, and not that it's not a big deal, but whatever. I don't feel like dealing with it. And I try not to just walk on other people's property either. I get it. So you're gonna have to, but it sucks. So you're gonna have to stop right. It's not great. Stop. But anyways, so this is the back, and you can't see it. I get it. It sucks. I would love to walk down there and show y'all, but that's the back of Indian Creek. And we used to drive all the way to the back of Indian Creek, all the way to the bridge back there. At some points in time, yes, we did get on pad and run it over sandbars and stuff, bad sketchy stuff. But I knew what we were doing. Very tight water. We did it. You can't even do that now. So what happened is same deal. It was great. The guy I talked to, Lacey Rogers, he was the sheriff here. He used to guide on Livingston, back in the 70s and stuff like that. Later became the sheriff. He used to tell me, hey, that creek where you're going in, that's 2 foot of water, when he used to fish here, it was 19, all the way in the back there. By this, there's a silted island that popped up, and you could only get by on one side. when I was fishing, it was never more than 4 foot deep. Never more. So even back in like the early 90s, it was only 4 foot. Now, like I've seen it where you can walk across there. When I grew up, yes, that point was there where the RVs are at, okay? But it was water. This right there is not land. It's not supposed, well, it's land now, but it's not supposed to be. So that dock used to have 4 foot of water on it. From there to on that other side of the water, that was all just water. It was all 8, 9, 10 foot of water all out there. I've smoked on them on that log right there, down that bank. I can walk across there right now. I can walk across all that. Like that whole bank was the best bank. That was always pretty shallow. Those Seney bean trees right here, that whole point that goes out there with those logs, that was not there. That was 5, 6, 7, 8 foot of water. Okay? This, try not to get run over on Labor Day. Those big Seney bean, there's trees growing right there. See that tree right there? This was the bank. That was the bank. That was all water. In the Bassmaster top 150, they had the guy on camera. He caught a 10-pounder where there's land now. Okay? That creek I used to put my canoe in and go way on back there. You can't even get to here. I do see some perch beds right there. But you can't physically, like, I don't know if you can, maybe you can get your boat there now, but maybe, I don't know if you can get across that. I think I went there the other day in a jet ski and couldn't get across that. See, there's that sandbar. I'll leave that other video separate about the whole silt and what makes these lakes bad. But that is basically where I grew up fishing, how I grew up fishing, walking the banks, canoes, things like that. I did have a little 14-foot wash tall boat when I got, I don't even remember, 18, 19, something like that, 7. I don't know. I can't remember. I couldn't go across the lake with it, but I could at least kind of get around a mile or two outside the marina. But yeah, that's how I grew up, walking the bank, and then ended up now where I am now. If you want to call, I don't know where I am now, but I'm getting to fish all the time, make YouTube videos, fish tournaments like I wanted to. That's all I ever wanted to do with my life. So turned out pretty good. A lot of fond memories. Love that place. Wish it was as good as it was when I was a kid, but you know what? Things changed. So I'm glad I got to enjoy it when I did. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed it too. See y'all.